We'll be starting now. Okay, welcome current and past district leaders, speakers, executive committees, guests, members of Toastmasters. Thank you for taking the time to attend today's District 87 membership building workshop from guests to prospect to member. My name is Helman Omar and I'll be your host to guide you through today's proceedings. Before we begin, I'd like us to observe a few house rules. Number one, please rename yourself. Please state your division club name name. So for example, if you are from division E, it will be E dash, and your club would be Brunei Speakers Club, and then dash, and then your name. Secondly, please remain muted. You may unmute yourself if you are a facilitator, role taker, or if you have been invited to speak. 3, please reach out. In case of connectivity issues, please stay calm and reach out to the Zoom host in the chat box. 4, please stay engaged. You may use the chat to ask questions anytime. They will be addressed in the Q&A session. Ladies and gentlemen, today's session was formulated to aid clubs in membership recruitment. To fulfill these objectives, we've arranged an agenda that's packed full of enlightening and educational information that can be brought forward into your clubs. This educational session will be 2 hours long. The first half will be a workshop by immediate past Division E Director Toastmaster Lai Ling on how to talk to Toastmasters to guests, followed by a Q&A session for all of your burning questions. And the second half will be a panel discussion moderated by immediate past Division M Director Toastmaster Aurelia Rini, which comprises some of the most experienced Toastmasters in District 87 and beyond. As we go through the agenda, feel free to ask questions, take notes, share ideas, and above all, stay engaged. Without further ado, I would like to call by immediate past Division E Director, Toastmaster Lai Ling, to the stage to begin her session from guest to prospect to member. Over to you, Toastmaster Lai Ling.
Thank you very much, Helman, for the wonderful introduction, and welcome to all attendees today. I'm so excited to have the privilege to give this workshop. Now I'm just going to go ahead and share those slides. All right, here we go. All right. District 87, we're facing quite a membership crisis at the moment. And this is an advent that's been slowly happening because of the COVID pandemic. And this is something that all of us are facing. We might feel like we're alone in this endeavor, but we are not. And there are things that we can do to make sure that our membership drives are going to go up. And it's the hopes of the district that this workshop would aid clubs, EXCO members, and members just in gathering together and having that membership drive and to get more people in, because we're all in this together. Whether you're an EXCO or a guest or a member of the senior district council, we're all in this together, and it's our responsibility to help out and get those members in. So without serious stuff out of the way, I just like to say to everyone here that if you have any questions, feel free to just drop it in the group chat and I'll address it during the Q&A session. So without further ado, let's get everything started. All right, so I'll be splitting this segment into 4 different parts, which will deal with different aspects of how to talk to members, how to talk to guests the moment they enter into your meeting space. Now these are tips and tricks that you may use even if you are outside a Toastmaster. So if you happen to be in a sales profession, a marketing profession, or anything of the sort, hopefully these advice can also help you in your own professional journey. So we'll begin with before a meeting. And when I mean meeting in this context, I don't mean just a Toastmaster meeting, but the first moment of impact when you meet a guest or a prospect for the first time. After that, we'll follow up with what happens after you meet or after you show them the product or service, or in this case, the Toastmaster meeting. Thirdly, how when you're ready to close the sale, or in which case to share the benefits of your product or service, how do you go ahead with that kind of pitch? And lastly, I'll be diving deeply into specific Toastmaster resources and support that will help you in your drive for membership. So let's get started. All right. So before anything happens, preparation is key. Very much like how we spend hours or days, weeks, or even months if you're competing for a contest to prepare the script. We also have to put just as much effort before the guest even steps foot in the meeting. The first thing we have to understand is our role in a Toastmasters club or in our organization. So the first thing is we have to know the information that we are talking about. So as a Toastmaster member, we have to know our service or product, which is the Toastmaster organization itself. What is Toastmaster? What's our role in there? What are we doing there? And it goes without saying that as a member, we would know these kind of things, but perhaps if there are new members out there, they might not understand their part in playing this kind of role. Because the moment a guest walks in the room or they see a member of your organization, they're going to start making assumptions or have perceptions of what the organization is about. And every word that comes out of our mouth is a representation of that organization. So it's important to understand the information that we have to avoid misunderstandings that might happen. So this is a lot of fancy words, but the crux of it means that we need to understand what is Toastmasters about. Because sometimes I see members go out and they explain what is Toastmaster is to guests, and they might have different understanding of what a Toastmaster is. And sometimes they will say things like, oh, we come here and, you know, it's really fun. And we come here and we have events and we eat and we makan all the time. And that's not something you want to say to a guest, because they might get the misconception they're there just to have fun and eat. And then suddenly all that communication leadership aspect isn't there. So it's something that we all have to be wary of. And if there are new members about, just quickly brief them about the correct way to represent Toastmasters. Following that is knowing the team, knowing the resources and assets you have available. So for example, you as a member might not have the full amount of knowledge of pathways, but your VPE might. And so it is up to you to know who exactly is in your organization that holds these responsibilities and have this knowledge. So if you, for instance, couldn't understand or answer those questions that a guest might give you, then you can redirect them to people who might be able to have the correct information. Right. Lastly is everyone does play a part altogether, you know. And like I said before, no matter how diverse or how different we are, the club must present a united front. Because if there's someone who might say a different thing or who might have a conflict of information with another member, then it might affect the overall perception or impression that the guest might have as they walk in. So altogether, all these three aspects put together would be the role a member would have, regardless if they have an exco position or a district position. Everyone plays a part. If you are a member of Toastmasters, you are representing Toastmasters. And I believe it's important that we all understand that. Right. Moving on is about knowing your audience. Now, this is something that I feel as a Toastmaster member. We have to assess the kind of members that are entering our club. The kind of guests who are interested in our meetings, the kind of guests we want to attract, and also talk about what kind of pressure points or pain points they have that are obstructing them from joining. Now I'll go through this one by one. So the kind of people who has been interested in your club. So I feel that it's important to sort of just do a quick survey or quick think about the kind of people who's been coming, because these are the people who have been attracted to the way we've been presenting ourselves, whether it's our social media or the people in our club who've been going out and talking about it. Every word that has been said, whether they share with friends and family, that would be a point of attraction for people to come in. And that's also an indicator of what has been shared about the club. So do a quick survey just to understand who's been attracted to your club, what are their demographics. So for a quick example, in my club, there are 3 different types of people that we can expect to see. Students or people just ready to enter the working life. So perhaps they're looking for extra skills or to build up their confidence and competence level in communication. Another one would be people in mid-level career. They're looking for an extra leg up so that they can get that promotion they want. And finally, the last one would be people who are well in their years and just looking for a community to join, to learn and to grow with. So these are the 3 types of people that normally I can expect to see at my club. And it's been quite consistent, I believe, with the kind of guests that we're attracting. And that moves on to my second point. Who do you want to attract? Because the people who are interested in your club and the people who you want to attract, in my opinion, they should align. They should be the same. Because if they're not, then you're not going to get the same members that you want to have in your club. I've seen people who join the club for perhaps ulterior motives. For example, people who are looking for a girlfriend. Like, you might laugh, but it has been a sort of an issue, I think, in the past with people harassing female members of the club, and you don't want members like that. So that could be something that you want to try your best to avoid, and you might want to avoid giving out advertisements or marketing that points towards that direction. So you want to have a think about what kind of audience is the most sustainable for your club, like good, interested members who want to stay and support the club and contribute to the meetings. So those are the members you want. So you want to shy away from members who perhaps join because they need an accolade on your CV, and they don't necessarily come to meetings. So while they might in the short term be good for membership as a member on the dashboard, but in the long term, they wouldn't be much help to the club, and eventually they will leave anyway. So you want to think about the long-term gains versus short-term goals. And lastly, while you have your audience, also understand what's keeping them back so that when they bring it up, you're able to address it. Of course, different people would have different pain points or different things holding them back, but there are commonalities and there are similarities between members. For example, it could be price holding them back. Toastmasters say that their membership is considered quite affordable compared to a lot of expensive workshops and trainings and seminars out there. But in our part of the world, as an Asian country, when you do a currency conversion, the rates are actually considered quite expensive. So as members, it's us to understand that and tell guests or prospects that there are returns on their interests that are more than what the price might imply. So that's something that we have to consider as a member, just to think about what is holding these people back and what can we say to make them feel relief and just feel better about making that leap to join. So different audiences would have different pressure points. So it's up to us to do the research to find out what those are. All right, moving on to the next point when it comes to understanding the things you have available to you is assessing your assets. This is what I call knowing what you have available to help you. Right? And the thing is about sales or pitching or making a conversion on members or prospects to guests is that the whole experience starts even before they meet you. So it's for us to understand what is the first point of contact that these guests might have. For example, it could be If they are getting referred from friends and family, then what has been said to them? If they found us on our website or social media, then what is being said on social media? And you want to have a look at that and align that with what's happening at the meetings. Are they the same? Are we being represented right? Otherwise, people might come in and then the moment they see that it's not the same as what has been promised to them or what they see on social media or what has people been talking about it, then they might feel like, okay, it's not consistent, and they will already feel a bit turned off from staying or coming a second time. So just quickly assess what is their first point of contact and how consistent it is with what's being represented. The next up is how easily available the information is accessible to them. Make sure that the like what are we, where to find us, when to find us, how to find us, all of this is very easy to find. Because if nowadays people have quite a low attention span, so the more clicks or the more effort they have to expend to find information, the harder it is for them to even make the leap to come in, because they'll just find that it's too much effort to do so. So always make sure that this information is easy to find, whether it's by making sure your presence is easily approachable or easily found on Google, or making sure that you have a person or a point of contact that's able to quickly help them with any information they wish to find. So yeah, how clear is the funnel? I remember having this conversation with an EXO team before, and we quickly found out that there was a lot of jumps to get to the club. So you find us on social media, they have to contact VPPR. VPPR would refer to a VPM. VPM will refer to VPE. VPE will refer to the club, because everyone didn't really have all the information available at first glance. So because of so many referrals, people might feel turned off or might not feel like it's a very easy process. So that's something that has to be thought about as well. Like, how clear is the information that is being presented? And lastly, it's just, how is the overall experience from getting to the club, walking in, and is there anyone greeting them or anything like that? Or is there anyone available to ask questions to? Is there anyone to guide you or sit next to you when you sit down? All this contributes to the overall experience. And sometimes something that I like to do is do a quick check. If I was a customer or client or a new guest or anything like that, how would I like being appreciated, treated like this? If I'm getting someone coming up next to me and always talking to me like that, would I feel annoyed, or would I appreciate having someone to help me? So different people have different preference. So it's about striking a balance about what people like and what will be best for your organization to help you get those members or those prospects that you need. So always put yourself in their shoes to see how far that will get you. All right, so that's the prep work before the meeting. These are all the things we have to think about before we even start talking to guests. Now that we're done, if we by luck, people stay and then they've listened to everything and they haven't left yet. So what else can we say to them? One thing that you have to think about is, we're all human, and human beings want to be reassured. They want to know that you have their best interests at heart, that you are not trying to pursue your own agenda. So active listening will be something that will be good to practice when you're talking to a guest or a prospect. Really focus on what they're saying or what they're not saying. What are their clues? What are their pain points or pressure points? What are they most excited about? What are they hoping to learn or achieve, or what are their goals? So when you listen and have these clues, that's when you can begin to understand what is it they're looking for and whether or not they're a good fit for your organization. Next up is definitely don't sell. Some people might come across really aggressive. I know that sometimes we get conflicting information, always have a call to action. Always remember to tell people to come back or do something or join. But also, if you come across as being too aggressive or too gung-ho or anything like that. People might feel like, oh, I'm just a number to you. You just want to sell to me. You don't really, care about me. You're just there because you want to fulfill a quota. So, which isn't a nice feeling to have as a person who just walks in. So it's good to always feel appreciated, included, and just feel like you matter. And that's something that guests would like to feel and members would have to consider and take into account. And lastly, is just that honesty is the best policy. So never lie to make things seem more attractive. What do I mean by this? A lot of people come in and then I see members, they're desperate. They want to say anything just to get people to join. Yeah. Join Toastmasters, confirm you become like the best motivational speaker. This is where we train people to become the next, I don't know, the next Datuk Mahathir or something, So you don't want people to feel like you're over promising something that they can't. And that will only set people up for disappointment. They come in and they don't get the results they promised, and that will just make everything really awkward and people won't come back. Even if they pay the membership, there won't be members who stay because they feel like they're not getting the things that were promised to them at the moment they join. So honesty is the best policy. Stay honest, stay authentic, stay true, and you won't go wrong with anything. And next up is the follow-up. Always thank guests for coming or for approaching you, or thank people for their interests. Invite them for a second meeting if they look interested. Otherwise, don't push. But just a simple thank you will go a long way. Appreciate them for their presence, for coming, for being interested. And next, try your best to stay in contact. And that includes trying to ask for their contact information. Toastmaster recommends to keep a guest book where you keep all their phone numbers, their emails, all the things they have to contact them. I believe nowadays people also ask for Facebook and Instagram, especially if they were part of a meeting. We can tag them, and then it'll be nice for them to share as well. So this is just free publicity. So all of this all funnels back into getting people to come back again. And lastly, it's a good tip that I had from someone who was into sales, and that's just have templates ready. But these aren't templates like the ones that I appreciate your attendance to our meeting. Your participation means a lot to us. No, this is something more like something heartfelt. Thank you so much for coming. It was so nice to meet you. I hope we can see you again. But if not, I hope you have a good weekend or a good day. Or if someone's asking a question like, what's the meeting about? At least you have something ready. Oh yeah, Toastmasters. Our meetings are split into 3 parts. We've got the prepared speeches, impromptu sessions, and we even have a feedback session so that everyone can learn from things. So little casual answers like this will help people stay interested and get that push to just come back again. So all of this makes a little difference, and a little goes a long way, because in the end, everyone works together to make sure that those guests, don't stay guests. Yeah. So that's for the after meeting. Now I'm going to move on to the one-on-one, and this is the part where I feel most people are intimidated about. Oh gosh, I joined because I wanted to get better at speaking to people, and I'm not sure how would I speak to a guest. But the fact of the matter is, it wasn't, we were guests once. We were people who didn't know anything about Toastmasters. And it's important that we recapture that feeling. What was that moment that made us want to join? And something that, this technique that I came across that I thought really worked for me is, they call it story selling. I know people don't like the word selling, but story selling is a real thing. It's a real technique. And it's all about humanizing the product or services or the help or the benefits that people might get from a certain product or service. So, for example, sharing real life problems, real life case studies, real life things that actually happen to people, whether or not it's people who are currently members or people out there who, who Toastmasters has made a difference for. So talked about how this solved it. For example, I had a friend who joined, and it was really funny how she joined. She had a big presentation coming up the next week, and she literally came to Toastmasters 1 week before thinking that it will solve all her problems. Newsflash, it didn't. We told her that we couldn't make her a world-class trainer in 1 week, but we did tell her to come back if she feel like she needed help, and she did, and she joined. And it actually did help. It didn't make her the best trainer in the world in 1 week, but she has been a member for 6 years now, and she has shared that it has made significant improvements in not only her personal life, her professional life, but also in her confidence and in the way that she works. So these are real life stories that will resonate with people and make them feel like, hey, this isn't a fluke or a scam. This is something that people actually took in, and it helped them. So that's something that could be used in talking to guests to tell them that it works. Next up is getting personal. A lot of people don't like this, and I understand, because I don't either. I don't like telling my whole life story to a stranger just to get them to join, just to get those numbers up. But when I mean use your own insights, I don't mean, sharing all the things that happen to you. I just mean like sharing your feelings about it, sharing how it helped you, just briefly, because coming from you as a person, that will mean a lot more than something that happened to someone they don't know. So any little bit helps. And lastly, and this is something that I believe came from speeches, very much like how we spend so much time balancing structure and purpose and words and speeches. The same kind of thought and effort has to be put into the things we say, even if it's in a conversation to a guest. So balancing the logic and emotion. What do I mean by that? Logic would be the outcomes and results. This is what happens. This is the kind of things you can expect to see, and this is the kind of things that might possibly happen to you if you take on this product or service. And the emotions would be the intrinsic things that move people. Toastmasters changed my life. Personally, I joined when I was 18, and it's been almost 10 years. And I can't imagine life without it. It's impacted me not just in my personal and professional life, but also in the way that I talk to people and make friends and gain a community out of it. So that's the emotion part that comes with Toastmasters. And the logic part would be the fact that, it helps you get a promotion. It helps you get out there and become more confident. So real life impact and results versus emotional gratification that comes from it. And altogether that would be the thing that would draw on people's heartstrings as well as results. All right. Last but not least, and most important when it comes to talking to people, is always, always, always remember to tell them what's in it for them. Sometimes we get bogged down by all the things like, it's good. We have table topics, we have speeches, we have evaluators, we have coaches, but those are the features. Those are things. They are not what would help them. And so the things that will help them is, hey, this is what will make you more confident. This will help you be a better leader, a better communicator. And that's what makes a difference between pushing people over the line to, hey, this is a cool thing, to, hey, I need this to help me. So yeah, always remember what's in it for them, and let that drive the conversation so that people know what kind of value it brings to them. All right. Now that we've went through all the tips and tricks and techniques and help for pitching to a guest or a prospect, I'm going to quickly share some things that Toastmaster recommends that we say about Toastmasters. So, and you can find this on the website. It's called Features, Benefits, and Value. And personally, this has helped me so much in defining what it is that Toastmaster helps someone. So very much like how some people in marketing will look for keywords or things that they really want to hear, these are the keywords that would help people make the leap. So for example, you can talk about the weekly sessions we have, but the benefits would be things like overcoming fear or public speaking, giving you more experience in speaking. And the best thing about this is that depending on whether you're talking for yourself or for your professional career, these are the things that will help you that way. For example, for myself as a person, I will be improving my skills as a leader, as a speaker. But to an organization, having better leaders and speakers as employees would help you get a better business acumen overall. And having people with the right attitude, right aptitude, and all of that would make for a better company. So that's a kind of value to an organization. If you happen to be having a corporate club, or you happen to reach out to corporations, for example, if you have, for example, Maxis or HSBC, any banks or any telecom service providers or any big companies who you want to partner with in your club, and you go over there and you tell them, okay, send your employees to our club, and this is what you as an organization stand to gain with better employees. And I find that this helps. In my home country, Brunei, we actually do have partnerships with oil and gas companies where they pay membership for up to 10 people to come in, and we tell them that it's because when they come in and they do speeches and they take up roles, they're learning skills like skills for our counter grammarian. They help with reporting, table topic master, table topic speaker. This all helps with impromptu, critical thinking, lateral thinking, as well as problem solving. And then when you think about roles like Toastmaster of the Evening, General Evaluator, it helps with leadership, with organization, with planning, and of course, taking on evaluations. That all helps with giving feedback, with helping people to be more critical, and also be more nice in the way they phrase things and more diplomatic and tactful. So all of this put together will be skills that organizations find helpful. And if you go online, you can quickly find out all these things that will help pull in people. And if you have marketing or social media, or if you want to start pitching to people, start thinking about the kind of words you use and the kind of words you want to put in to draw people in. Because I don't know about you, but things like improving leadership skill, communication confidence, effective presentation delivery, all these are big drawing points that drew me in before I was a member. So it stands to reason that other people out there, other guests, will find these things attractive as well. All right. So small groups, self-paced program, learn when you want, how you want. And that's actually a big, unique selling point of Toastmasters. I feel like not enough credit goes to Pathways, because Pathways is one of those programs where you can choose what you want to learn, you can choose when you want to learn it, and you get so much support from evaluators and mentors to help you get there. So when it comes to guests coming in and asking, what's so great about Toastmasters? The answer would be, well, Pathways. And that's the product or service that I feel that a lot of clubs miss out on, because this is something that clubs can start talking about and start saying like, hey, this is so good for you, because not a lot of training has this. Most trainers, they have a pre-programmed course, you take it or leave it, but hey, in Pathways, you can choose the kind of modules that will make you either, for example, engaging humor will make you a better comedian, team collaboration will make you a person who's better at thinking about your team. Innovative planning will help you with making better proposals. Motivational strategies, well, that will help you becoming a better coach. So all of these things, they point to you as a better speaker, as a better leader, and that's all available in Pathways. So clubs, excos, members out there, if you haven't been giving enough attention to Pathways, I highly recommend that you do so, because it is a strong, unique selling point for Toastmasters. All right, I have reached almost the end of my presentation. I will drop a link to my slides in the group chat, because in the link as well, oh dear, in the link as well, I have also shared these resources. So when you click on these, they will bring you to the direct download link where you can download these resources. So these are the leaflets that you can actually print out. Toastmasters let us use it for free, print it out, and you can give it out to guests as they come to your meeting. These are ways on how to explain about Pathways, the kind of things you learn from each path, as well as the anatomy of a Toastmaster meeting, what kind of things they stand to gain from every single role. And lastly, if you're the type who likes to read like me and likes manuals and guides and blueprints, these are very heavy, like 30-page manuals, step by step, on how do you build membership, how to grow membership, how to market your club, as well as the title of this workshop itself, how to turn prospect to guest to member. All right, thank you so much for listening to me. I now open the floor for Q&A, and I believe I'm going to begin this by reading the 35 chat messages that are waiting for me in the chat box. So yeah, thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Let me just scroll all the way back up. All right. Oh, wow, that is a lot. Okay, Rona, I have my first question from Rona. Rona, can you share how many members have you been able to attract personally to set credibility? Personally, oh, it's hard to say actually, because I have been VPE, I have been VPM from 8 years or 10 years. I've never actually kept track, but I can say that I have spoken to a lot of people, and I believe in my term as a VPM, I have converted 8 out of 8 for that particular term. So I don't know if that lends credibility, but I can only say that for that term, I know I've done 8. For the other 8 years I've been a Toastmasters, I can't say for sure how many I've converted during that point. But thank you very much for that tip, Rona. Definitely setting credibility is very important at the beginning. All right. Okay. All right, Hugh said, we are planning to do a demo meeting at a university. Any insights on a demo meeting? Presentation workshop followed by table topics. It's interesting you say that. Toastmasters actually have a demo meeting template. And I actually was planning to, in my preliminary presentation, I actually had a slide where I did a demo meeting, but I was concerned for time. So you know what, Hugh, since you have asked me personally, I'm going to send you a link to my demo meeting slide. And I'm also going to share with you a couple of the slide template, as well as the tips Toastmaster recommend to do during demo meetings. So they actually tell you like the things to say, how the format you want it to be, what the kind of things you want to share during it, as well as how do you cut it down so that it doesn't overwhelm the speaker. They also give you like little tips like how to become confident, how to talk to people. So all of this is all available online on Toastmasters. And I'm so happy that you're going to hold a demo meeting. Good luck to you, Hugh. If you need any help, let me know. More than happy to help you out. All right. All right. Moving on. All right, I believe those are the only 2 questions that were directed to me, but I'm happy to hear how everyone has been so engaged in the group chat, and I'm so pleased to hear that everyone was so sort of sees the importance of driving in membership and just being able to sponsor and having members come in and be invested in pulling in all those members. Thank you so much. Anyone has any members, any questions from the floor? Any questions from the floor? If no questions from the floor, I'm more than happy to just end it here.
It looks like somebody wants to ask question.
Okay, anyone here wants to ask a question?
Putu?
Pak Putu.
No?
Hello, good afternoon.
Hi, Pak Putu. How are you?
Fine, thank you. So I want to asking about one first is about 2 months. I already approached one of the manager of the bank in Jakarta, and actually he already joined around 2 times in Medan First and in Expert Club Indonesia. 2 clubs from Division X. So, but I approach with for the next step, how to be a members, or maybe we build a new club in that bank. So no response from him. What is the next? Should I prepare the next Kung Fu style with proposal, or maybe met him in Jakarta, because next week we'll be going to Jakarta.
Oh,
Thank you.
okay. Thank you, Pak Putu. It's very difficult when you're approaching corporation. There's a lot of red tape, a lot of protocols, a lot of hoops to jump through, a lot of like a funnel, because you need to reach the right person. And I believe your contacts, it's always good to follow up. If they haven't been responding to you, it could be one, they might have forgot about it because, you know, things happen, work can get quite hectic, or worst case scenario, they're not interested. But since you've already been in contact, they've been responding, then it's most likely they've forgotten. And honestly, I think you're right about that, that face-to-face is the best. If you are going to Jakarta and if they are open to a meetup, you know, just make it available to them that you are open for, you know, a cup of coffee just to talk about Toastmasters if they have any questions. If they want something casual. If not, schedule a meeting with them in their boardroom, you know, do like a whole pitch proposal presentation with all the, you know, hey, like what I said about the features of it. Hey, this is what we do. This is what you stand to gain. This is what your employees will benefit from. I think it's a good idea. And if you want to make it, so what we do in one of the clubs in my country is we set up a sort of like a exchange. You can send a couple of members to our club. You can sponsor them if you want, depending on the proposal. You sponsor them if you want to be members. What we'll do is we'll go over to your company and we'll propose training programs to help you and your company. So either by we go in and we train them on presentation skills, or we go in and we allow them public speaking opportunities at our club to share their company, or we attend their events and they attend our events. So it's like a sort of like a we help you, you help us kind of thing. So most corporations, if you phrase it well, if you can make sure that they have enough returns on interest, then they are quite happy to make the exchange. So it's all about, you know, making the right pitch, making the right sale, and making sure that there's enough follow-up. So good luck, Pak Putu. I hope that the meeting in Jakarta goes well. Yeah. All right.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else from the audience? Diane. Hi, Diane. Oh, is it Diane?
Hi. Yes, Diane. Thank
Oh,
you very much for your presentation, Toastmaster Liling. I'm Diane from APR Toastmasters. I'm the VPM in the APR Toastmasters. I have a question. Can you give me like tips or tricks if I have a member, for example, that always have a reason not to come to the meeting? So I'm trying to let to WhatsApp and then always has a reason. So maybe you can share your tips and tricks. Thank you.
okay. So Diane, this is a tough one because honestly, whenever something like this happens, like my heart breaks a little, because especially if it's a member that used to be active, or even if a member wasn't active before, something made them want to join, and then something made them not want to stay. So there's something didn't go well in between. I try not to make judgment. Maybe it's because they're busy, life always gets in the way. Toastmasters, it shouldn't be a priority. Toastmasters, it's fun, we learn a lot, but life should always be the priority, whether it's family or work or things like that. So that's why I understand if people don't come back. But sometimes it's because something didn't meet their expectations. Maybe they had a certain goal and that goal wasn't being met. Most of the time, that's what happens. Maybe they wanted to do this, and maybe the environment in the club didn't allow them to do that. Maybe they wanted to be a better speaker. Maybe after doing a couple of speeches, they realized that they weren't getting enough feedback or enough opportunities to do that. So that's why they don't come back. It really depends on the member, and it's not up to me to say why that member didn't come back. But the first thing to do is always to research and to understand why they're not coming back. And if they're not replying, I think even after quite a few times, I think it's just sometimes it's good to just let go, and maybe they'll come back on their own. I always find that sometimes they do come back. Sometimes they don't want to leave. Sometimes they will come back. Sometimes just have faith. But yeah, thank you very much, Diane. It's very nice to meet you. All right. Any more questions from the floor?
May I?
Yes, Honey. Nice to meet you, Honey.
Okay. Thank you, Toastmaster Lailing, for sharing. My name is Hani. I'm from VPM from SGBD Toastmasters Club. I have a question. I think it's related how to we prospect from the guests to become members. Sometimes in the first it's quite challenging, but after we got they register to become members, and then I think the next challenge is how to give the drive and encouragement to the members to keep deliver their project, because my intention is our goals. It's not only they register and receive the money, but our goals is when they register to become members, and then we give their opportunity to grow, and if the members all of deliver projects and goals, so our club it's more grow. But the challenging is like that. I mean, okay, they paid renewal, but the challenging is how to give the drive and the members to keep being deliver project and continue there until the next pathway or next project. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Hani. I understand where you're coming from. If it helps, this is just the first workshop in many from district. So this one deals with how do you get members to join, how do you get guests to join. Our further workshops will be how do you get members motivated, because I believe that is one of the biggest problems in our district right now. We have so many good members who used to be so committed, but what happened to them that they're not continuing, they're losing that drive. So it's up to us as leaders to sort of figure that out. And our next few workshops will come up with a couple of ideas on how do we discover those ways. I'd like to pass the floor to our Club Growth Director, Miranda, who's able to share more about this. Miranda, if you don't mind.
Yes, thank you, Ling Ling, and also thank you, Hani, for your question. I have a suggestion, and this is not purely mine. I heard it from somebody else. Actually, it's from, his name is Andrew Suro. He is the district director from South Africa, a 26-year-old who's already a 3-time DTM, very inspiring. And so I said, what is your opinion on this? And this is the answer that he gave me, which took me by surprise. And I thought, this is such a brilliant thing. So to get members motivated, this is his suggestion, not mine. I'm just passing it, okay? He said that we often forget about our goals. Why did we join Toastmasters? Did we join Toastmasters because we want to be a professional speaker, to become a better speaker, or for whatever reason, yeah? And then once we become a member, then we just come to meeting, we do our role, or we're asked, we do the role because nobody else is doing it. And we're not putting our heart into our roles. And he said, we need to remind members about their goals, and that every single role that they take is actually taking them closer towards their goal, instead of just doing it because you're just a member. And I thought this was very profound, and I'm starting to adopt that for my clubs. And I think there's a different sense of doing your projects when you realize that by doing it, even, do the projects or do the meeting roles, is taking you one step closer or one step further. Does that answer your question? Or that's an input from me. It's not an answering a question.
Okay, thank you, DTM Miranda, for your suggestion. We still can consider and from your suggestion, and it helps for the next improvement.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I think we all need to do that. We need to all to remind ourselves, and also remind the members what they're here for in being a Toastmasters. Yeah. Thank you, Ling Ling, for giving me the chance to answer that, to comment on that, rather.
No problem. I mean, that was really well said, and I totally agree. I guess it's just up to us to remember why we joined, why we're here. It's up to us to have that drive, that motivations ourselves. Like, other people can help find it for us, but it's up to us to actually go there and do it, I think we're running a bit behind. For everyone here who wants to hear more pearls of wisdom for DTM Miranda, don't worry, the panel discussion is coming up next. I'll just quickly wrap up so that we can pass it on. After all those questions, thank you so much for everyone who's braved up and asked their questions. I just want to quickly address, I think I had some time to actually read through the group chat. And I think it's apt that I end on this note, that the thing about sponsoring members or bringing people in the club, I don't believe any single person is responsible for bringing people into club, because it's a whole experience, you might bring in the member, but the people who are conducting the meeting are the ones who are putting on the performance, the show that they're watching, the evaluator is probably giving the feedback that they thought, hey, this is useful, and this is what's going to help me improve. And if I stay here, I'm gonna get feedback like that. So no man is an island, and my track record is only 8. I'm so sorry, guys, because that's what the dashboard said when I was VPM. So I can't say that I've sponsored a lot of members, but I can tell you that in the course of 9 years as a Toastmasters, people come and go, and I'm so happy and proud of my team that came together to bring in all those people. And I'm sure that everyone here who's made the effort to attend this workshop today have gone towards those first steps and putting together a team that will do that. So all the best to everyone here in their membership drives. And I hope that we all are gonna help District 87 become even more prosperous after this. So that's all for me. Thank you very much. I now pass the floor back to our MC, Toastmaster Hilman Omar. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Lai Ling Ling. Now let us move on to the next item on the agenda, the panel discussion hosted by Immediate Past Division M Director, Toastmaster Roel Yarini. Members of the audience, we will be opening the floor to questions. Oh, that's already said. Sorry, I just following your script. Okay, so basically, please type in your questions in the chat, and our panelists will address them as they go along. So with that said, let us now begin with a panel discussion. Toastmaster Roel Yarini, the floor is now yours.
Thank you, Toastmaster Hilman Omar. Members are the lifeblood of a club. And this afternoon, we will have a discussion from A to Z on how to make a guest to become a prospect and then become a member. Because members are coming from firstly as a guest, maybe they come as an observer or really curious to know what is a Toastmaster. But no matter your intention, we will learn from experienced members about this from a practical experiences. And for today's panel discussion, we have 3 panelists I would like to introduce to all of you. The first one, he is the president of SCB Toastmasters Club 2021-2022. Achieved President's Distinguished Club on his term, and on that time, his team gained more than 30 new members in a term that made their members to become 52 members. And also, he became the one behind the scene who expanded social media as a promotional tool. And our first panelist is Toastmaster Garda Widi Nuraga. Hi, Toastmaster Garda. Nice to meet you here.
Have a good afternoon. Hi, Toastmaster Leah, and to all participants coming to this event. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. Now, I'd like to introduce you to the second panelist. She was an area director of District 51 in term 2021 and 2022. On her term, he got the award as the Area Director of the Year. And currently, she is the president of not just one club, but 2 clubs. First one is District 51 Hybrid Toastmaster Club, and the second one is District 102 Expo Toastmasters Club. And in her term as area director, she sponsored more than 15 members and even more last term. And the second panelist, let us invite to the screen, Distinguished Toastmaster Cecilia Kok. Hi, Distinguished Toastmaster Cecilia.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Rolia. Glad to be here. Good afternoon, fellow Toastmasters, ladies and gentlemen.
Okay, thank you. Last but not least, our third panelist. She was the Division G Director in term 2020 and 2021. And also on her term as a Division Director, got the President Distinguished Division. And she sponsored more than 20 members in her term as a Division Director, and even more than maybe 100 for her whole career, her whole journey in the Toastmasters. Currently, she serves as a District 87 Club Growth Director. And here she is, Distinguished Toastmaster Miranda Rumi. Hi, Distinguished Toastmaster Miranda.
Hi, Rolia. Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here. And hello, members, District 87 and guests. Welcome to this session today.
Okay, thank you. It's great to have you, 3 of you here. Our experienced members to share more your experience of maybe how to turn guests to become a prospect and then become a member. And if we still have enough time, maybe we will discuss a bit about member retention, because if you can maybe turn more guests to become members, but you still lose those existing members, you cannot boost up your membership growth. And just now, this is Toastmaster Miranda. We are talking about guests. So, okay. Now my first question is going to Distinguished Toastmaster Cecilia Kok. In your opinion, how important it is to have guests in your club meeting?
Of course, it's very important to have guests, because without guests, you can't convert them into your own club members, right?
Okay, And maybe you have some tips how to invite guests coming.
There are many ways, actually. Basically, I felt that the social media plays a very big role in recruitment, because that is the starting point where your club is noticed. And for me, I remember one member, she was recommended to attend my club meeting. It's not so much as I got to know her, because when I asked her how come she attended our club meeting, she said, oh, someone recommended your club. And she immediately, after that first meeting itself, she became a member. So that's why I think it's very important how your club is portrayed. If people think that your club is good enough, they may even recommend other people to join your club. So how does people know about your club? Social media, I think, plays a very big role.
Okay, how your club is being portrayed for the guests. That's quite interesting. Now I'm going to ask for this Toastmaster Miranda Rumi. We actually have a survey for attendees. Well, they are registered themselves, and most of the answers from all the guests that coming to the club meeting, only 10 to 30% guests that eager to join a Toastmaster meeting as a member. So how do you see this phenomenon? What encourages those guests to become a members, and maybe more others not eager to join as a members? How do you see this phenomenon?
Okay, this is a very good question and something that I love to work on. Yeah, I think the percentage probably varies. And looking at this, like your statement about only 10 to 30% want to join, I think we need to reflect, self-reflect, or introspect with ourselves, because I find my club has had a pretty good turnout. Like people come back again, and usually they come about 2 or 3 times before they finally decide to join. But the focus on our work is always about how to make the club meetings interesting. And we treat our guests as a guest of honor, like a dignitary. So we welcome them. So we talk in the WhatsApp before that, the meeting, the exco. Okay, we have this and this and this guest. Make sure they get table topics turns, and make sure they're mentioned, make sure they're welcomed. I think it's very important to keep that. And having said that, sometimes we forget to do that. We're Toastmasters, and we already know each other, and we just in Bahasa we call it asik, right? Asik, just talking to each other, and we forget there's this new person who is not getting attention. And with the online, it's probably a little bit harder because we don't have that social environment. So this is like doubly important when you're on an online environment, to have some time to take maybe a 10, 15, or even half an hour before the meeting, just open it to chat, not being silent and just waiting for the meeting to start. And I see in some clubs, I've seen this, and I think it would be very nice if you can just interact more and focus on making the club meetings exciting. And I think that could change. And then, of course, the follow-up is very important. The invite, the thank you, the inviting them again back, and then asking them, sending photo, which Ling Ling already mentioned. Yeah, that would be my suggestion.
Oh, okay. That reminds me that there is still another questions in the survey that mentioned maybe the guests not coming back because of they are not being followed up well. So maybe you can share us how to make a good follow-up to those guests. And for fellow Toastmasters, if you have any questions, you may put it in the chat room, and I will notice it and ask to our panelists. Maybe you can write that down to whom you want to ask this question as well. Pass it to you.
Yeah. Okay, so like these days, we use WhatsApp. we forward them the picture, right? I mean, okay, like let's start from the beginning, like with registration. When people register, one of our members, who maybe the VPM or whoever we assign for that term, will collect their names and then create a broadcast list group. So that group continues to grow. And so we have their names, and we put like maybe TM Prospect or something like that. And then so when we finish the meeting, then we can send them, if they attend, we send them the picture of them, and sometimes they win, and just like a few message. And then we also pay attention to the president, the excos are paying attention. This person looks interesting. And then somebody would, like we would talk among ourselves, like, okay, well, let's follow up and just say, how was it for you? And sometimes they just volunteer. They said, well, I'd like to come back again. And if they can say that, then for sure, we're going to follow up. But social media, as DTM Cecilia just said, and also I know that Garda also said, when I first started using Facebook, this was in 2000 and maybe 12 or something like that. We just have one big Facebook group. So we just add everyone that comes and put it there. I think, I'm not doing that anymore, but I think this is something that is good to revisit. Just putting your information, putting their name, and mention their name. Add them first so that you can mention, because if you mention, that would be blue, right? And then they can say, oh, this person said this and that, and their picture, and they like to share that with their friends. So I think that's something that would be good to revisit and reuse again. Yeah.
Okay, so I got the point is making a WhatsApp group and then put everything inside. But if you see that there is still a prospect from those guests, we can follow up it personally. The same if you're using the Facebook. So mention them personally. People like to be followed up personally. That's great. Now let's go to Toastmaster Garda. Toastmaster Garda, in one term, a growth of more than 30 members. That's quite a significant number. Now I wonder whether in every of your club meeting, SCBD, are there always guests coming? How can you invite so many guests coming to your meeting every time? Maybe you can share it to us.
All right, thank you, Toastmaster Aurelia. So, all of us have facing the pandemic, and I believe that this pandemic is also kind of blessing in disguise, because at the same time, we can also attract guests to attend freely, regardless of where they are or where they were at that time. So, how do we attract them? Well, I always put it in an analogy like this, because at the beginning, the team Cecilia mentioned that members are vital to the existence of the club itself, because without them, we couldn't turn them into the members of our club. So imagine like our heart, because I'm a doctor myself, so I would talk it into the biology. Imagine your heart, it has 4 chambers, and gas serves as one of the chambers. If one of the chambers doesn't function properly, then it cannot generate and it cannot pump your blood throughout your body. Basically, it's as simple as that. So they are part of our meeting, they are part of our club. And their existence is also what makes the club itself growing. And obviously, our members themselves are also part of the chambers of our heart. They have the connection, they have the big relations or network from their peers, their family members, their friends, their colleagues. They have the power and they have the capacity to invite any of those people to join our club meetings. So in general, like for example, in SCBD Toastmasters Club, we always have guests, and the numbers are varied actually. From sometimes we only had 5 guests coming. Sometimes they also had more than 20 guests.
Wow,
particularly
20 guests.
Yeah, particularly in last year, because I still remember during our term last year, we accommodated more than 40 to 50 participants in the room. Thanks to the encouragement from our members as well to ask their peers, their friends to join. And yeah, there's also in parallel, there's also contributing to the growth of our club in terms of the membership, because the guests see how we do, what Toastmasters really is, what they see from their friends what they are doing in our clubs, delivering the projects, taking the roles, and
Okay.
it made them feel curious about, oh, this is really interesting, and
Yes.
excited them to to ask more about Toastmasters, and that is the role from our team, our executive committee, to approach them, to
Yes.
to
But
follow
I'm
up.
yes, but I'm really curious now. In every club meeting, 5 to 20 members. Oh, do they come from maybe from the members inviting other guests coming, or maybe do you have any other method to have guests coming to your club meeting?
Yeah. So this is related to the first topic that we discussed about the power of social media. During my term, and I think this is something that we learned during this pandemic as well. We expanded our social media utilities. Like not only do we use Instagram on a daily basis and WhatsApp, but also we expanded to a YouTube channel. We always recorded our meeting and we uploaded to our YouTube channel so that everyone can see how our meeting runs, and also they can learn, including for our members, to retrace to see their performance in the previous meetings. And also we created a LinkedIn profile, Facebook profile, and also to keep retain guests to remember and to acknowledge, oh, there is the meeting of SCBD Toastmasters. We use this SendFox, if you have heard of it. So SendFox is basically auto-generated mail, cooperated with a Gmail, also like that, to send them weekly reminders about the upcoming meetings of SCBD Toastmasters, including the theme, including any basic information that they would need to acknowledge, so that it's like when you see an advertisement, be it in your social media or in the television, for the first time you may forget what the first advertisement is all about. But if you keep repeating, seeing those advertisements for the second time, third time, and many more times to come, they will get to have the information planted on their minds. Oh, I noticed about this Toastmasters. Where did I see it? Where did I first heard of it? Oh, and then they try to search maybe from Instagram or any other social media platforms. And that is when we try to also expand our social media to get that algorithm. I put it this way. Some of our members join SCBD Toastmasters because when they search Toastmasters, not SCBD, but Toastmasters on Instagram, the first list came up to their phone is SCBD Toastmasters. And how can SCBD Toastmasters, how could that be? That's the power of technology, I believe. And because we also utilize, and that is also why we have to keep persistent and to keep being active on social media. We know what to update. We have the schedule on how do we upload this and how what are the informations that we need to present. That all together, that they work hand in hand to become, like the most powerful. Maybe I put it that way. The most powerful thing that we can use from social media.
Okay. So now I wonder which content that actually your club always updated to upload to the Instagram.
Okay, so last term and the last 2 years, when before I became the president, I was involved in the public relations team in the SCBD Toastmasters. So we developed this method of making the posting timeline be more concise and also be more organized. So not only did we upload about the upcoming meeting information, but we also shared the educational information. We also shared some tips about public speaking, leadership, and any other things related to our daily lives. So sometimes when we look at one profile over social media, like for example, Instagram, if you only share information regarding the meeting schedule and also maybe, the meeting recap, people will get bored instantly. And over time, they will just ignore our profile. But if you can make it more attractive, if you can make it more organized, people will get to follow. Oh, this social media account is truly beneficial for me to learn from their tips about about public speaking, about leadership. And from that moment, they would instantly share to their peers, hey, I just attended this Toastmasters meeting called SCBD Toastmasters. Maybe you want to come with me in other time. So that is also what we call it as the dominant effect of having something organized, but then you expect the power of other people to make it more mesmerized.
Okay, that's interesting. So fellow Toastmaster, from these three panelists, we got the first point that you asked through the survey, how to invite guests coming to your club meeting. The first one is how you make your club being known to all those guests. And of course, Toastmaster Garda just now mentioned that actually, despite of maybe our members also inviting their friends and maybe relatives coming to see what Toastmaster is, how Toastmasters meeting runs, and also can benefit from the social media, uploading the content in the Instagram, not only the invitation and not only the maybe group photo of the meeting, but also share about the Toastmasters and also public speaking, so can know more actually what is a Toastmaster from those social media. And the second tip is to follow up the guests. And here we also got several tips from our three panelists. The first one is maybe you can use the WhatsApp group, but of course from the WhatsApp group, you know which guests that actually answer to that group, maybe comment to that group, and can be follow up personally. And the second one, maybe there is the tips from the SCBD club as well, using the sandbox. Is it right, sandbox? Maybe you can write it in the chat room so all the Toastmasters, fellow Toastmasters here know which application it is. The first time you join as the guest, the rest of other time, the guest will get the information, the further information about the meeting of this club or maybe other information. So you don't have to follow up one by one all the time. You just need once to do at all. Okay, great. That's a great sharing from our three panelists. Now let's go to another factor. Now we know how to let guests come in, yeah, and then to follow up guests, but which factor actually will encourage a guest who want to join as a member? Maybe three of our panelists may have their own perspective. Let's start it from the distinguished Toastmaster Cecilia Kong.
Thank you. So you're asking how the guest would want to stay or come back? Is that the question?
Yes, and then join as a member.
Yes, that's the one I was referring to the last time I told you, one of the members she became a member immediately when the BPM approached her, asked her of her interest, and she wants to sign up. I think the meeting is very important. And one of the things we learn in Toastmasters is timekeeping. That's why in Hybrid Toastmasters Club, we are very, very particular about timekeeping. We start on time. We ensure the role players are in before 8 p.m. That is for the Tuesdays, and 2 p.m. on the Saturdays. We have it on second Tuesday and fourth Saturday. It's different timing to cater for different types of people. Some people like weekends, some people like weekdays. So we are very particular about starting on time plus ending on time. To me is minimum, I wouldn't say minimum, maximum is 2 hours meeting. Anything more than 2 hours always drain that person, whether it's myself or any other Toastmasters or even the guests. It's too long. I've attended meetings of 3 hours. It's really draining. I cannot stand it. I wouldn't join that club because the meeting is so long. No doubt they have it once a month, but still it's too long. So my idea of a good meeting is maximum 2 hours, and start on time, finish on time. Plus the contents, what is inside it. So normally we call it PIE, project speeches. impromptu speeches and evaluations. We always ensure we get good evaluators. And that's why even until today, some of the guests which we invite to come in as role players, they find our meetings very good because our role players are all pretty good enough to give feedback, especially the evaluators and even the table topic master and even the project speakers, you see. So that's very important. The meeting must be good enough. I don't know how to say what it means by not good enough, because to me, the standard is very important. That is for myself personally. And since this club was chartered by me, I ensure that the standard is there and always work very closely with the VPE. And we always try to have all the role players, including the grammarian, which I understand is a very hard role to find. Okay, but we always try to get the grammarian in as well. So it's always a complete meeting with all the technical role players. We may not have more than one speech because we do have very few active members, but it's good enough to me as long as there is a speech. And when guests come in, they see how your whole meeting flows. The project speeches, table topics, and evaluations. And we always have a general evaluator from outside. We never ask our own people to evaluate us as a general evaluator. Where some clubs I see they do that. To me, it doesn't give a different perspective. So we always invite other people. There's so many Toastmasters around. I'm sure it's not difficult to get people to be a general evaluator, right? I mean, currently our meetings are all hybrid, so we can always import from overseas, right? And I'm sure some of you here can also be our GE in the future. So to me, it's very, very, very important. It must impress the people who attend it. As I told you, even the role players who come to our meetings find our meetings very good and they want to come back. That is important. So the club meetings is very, very important. Thank you.
Okay, the club meeting. Again, the time and the club meeting. So for people who maybe have a very little time to join the Toastmasters meeting, they can benefit from that. For the meetings start on time, we appreciate people coming on time, and then we also need to make sure that it finishes on time because they have any other thing to do. And also about the club meeting. So it's a high quality of a club meeting. That's great, Sari. This is Toastmaster Miranda Rumi. Do you have another another experience that you want to share? That I also heard many times from you. Always have a good quality of club meeting. Good quality of club meeting. Which quality that you mean? Maybe you can share with us.
Yeah, this is always a challenging thing, right? Because we all encounter the challenge of ExCos being busy and only a few ExCos being active and only two, less than half are working, the others are not working. So then the burden become so big on a few people, and then they get burnt out, and then that's when the meetings cannot be exciting anymore or not well prepared. And this happens, this happens in club and again, and it goes through cycle. So I found something that I've helped, that I discovered that can revive that excitement or that interest or that ownership of not just ExCos, but also members. And, by inviting members, making a special meeting just for members, it could be an outing, it could be a retreat, or it could just take, one of the meeting time to bring, to share their ideas of what they would like to see in the club, things that would excite them and would make them want to come. Because we have to start with the members ourselves. If we're not excited about our meeting, we cannot make our guests excited about our meeting. So when, if we discover that the excitement has gone down, the meetings kind of like not juicy anymore. I think this is one of the first thing that needs to be done. Ask members what they want, and then spread the responsibility. If you like to see that happen, what would you like to do to make that happen? Instead of like, well, EXCO could do this. No, you know, not the EXCO's job, everybody's
Yes.
job, because you are the club members, and then the club members have, you know, like you create the club how you want it to be. And if we give that, I guess, what do you call that? Authority, or, you know, opportunity for members to have their voice heard, to have their ideas implemented, or, you know, even just being listened to. It changed the energy of the club. It makes them feel like, okay, you know, like, yeah, I would like to do something like this, I feel like that. I mean, not all ideas are going to be implemented, but just the fact that everybody's being asked, everybody being listened to, and making them feel that they matter, that they're important. And that's, for me, is where I'm going. You know, I do that with my 2 clubs. And then when we have happy members, we all know, right? If we like something, then we would like to talk to people about it.
So every member is matter.
Yeah.
Yes, and just now I heard a phrase, outing. Oh, okay. Is that a kind of activities outside the regular meeting?
Yeah. Okay. So in my clubs, we have like a regular, like, you know, Christmas, and like a first of the meeting, or, you know, like half a mid-year, midterm, we go an outing, you know, like sometime, you know, with the car going somewhere. And then Christmas, we always have like Christmas parties and stuff like that. But recently I was talking to Dr. Clement Chen. So again, you know, I'm picking everybody's brains here. I asked him, how did he manage to keep like Division S so strong and with so many members all the time, and with the clubs, like they would have more than 60% of their clubs are president distinguished with very high number of members. And he said something that is very interesting for me that I'd like to share here also, is to create activities that involve members. So because if we go to the meeting, we come to the meeting, we do our meeting, and then we go, you know, it's not like we have a lot of time to hang out. And maybe, I don't know, maybe in some clubs they do a little bit, but, you know, in general, we just coming in because the meeting is like right after work. And then after that, we want to rush home, right? So he said that in his division, he started 5 clubs and they're all very strong. They create like activities. And what I mean by activities, like you do speechcraft, where you involve many members having to work together, having to communicate together. And then also doing like a youth camp, a youth leadership camp, not for the members, but for the community. However, the members have to work together to create that event. Like they have to meet, they have to do it, they have to do meetings, to work together. And then of course, also the outings, and then they do big installation parties. You know, the last one they did was for 5 clubs, joint clubs. It's 308 members. I mean, invitation. It's a bigger than a conference. But that's how they felt like, okay, we have a family here, we get together. So from that, I take like, okay, we need to do more activities with our club members, and then maybe also with areas, with joint clubs, so that we have we do when we do our Christmas club, usually we work with the other clubs as well. I mean, we invite them. So I think we all can do that in District 87, do more activities together, have fun together, then you create that bonding, and you want to stay because you have a very special family, very supportive and very positive.
And
Right.
those activities also involving those guests that come into the club meeting, right?
Of course.
Yeah, okay. So yes, I can imagine it. I can imagine it. There is another activities. We will have a bonding sessions, and not only the members. For the members, they may feel like, okay, we are being closer to each other because, especially during the COVID times, during the online meeting, the relationship, the bonding is not very very strong with each other, but maybe having another activities right now we already can do that. And meeting each other, talking with each other, maybe we'll have a better bonding than being just online meeting or regular meeting itself. That we need to run to go home. And from the bonding of the members, a strong members will create like something very interactive for the guests to join. Is
Yeah.
that what you want to say?
Yeah, they feel the energy, definitely. And we always
Okay.
get members, you know, maybe sometimes just one, sometimes two, but there's always an addition, right? Even though we.
Addition.
Mhm.
Yeah, so members being a magnet to the guests. Once they come to the club meeting and they will say, if your TPM follow up those guests, they will say yes. They will not say, wait a minute, I will just consider it again and I will let you know. Many times guests also have those reasons, those answers when we ask them. But okay, this is quite interesting for me. Yeah, to become how to attract guests to become a members. Now, I'd like to ask for Toastmaster Garda. Toastmaster Garda, I would like to ask you one question that actually being in the survey for all the attendees who registered for this event. In your opinions, or maybe from you and your team opinion, especially when you was being a president of the SCB Toastmasters Club, or maybe until now, if I ask you how hard it is to turn a guest to become a member, from 1, it is very hard, to 5, easy. What is your answer?
Well, well, that's a tricky question. I need to scale up from 1 to 10. Ideally speaking, it really varies and it really depends on the context and on the situation, how we face that. But I would say that regardless of the numbers, so yeah, from that scale itself, regardless of the numbers of the scale, I would rather to have the mindset of putting our club as a home, So let's put it this way. I always love to make an analogy. Imagine that you are at your home. How do you feel when you are inside your own house? You feel warm, you feel comfortable, and more on top of that, you feel safe.
Yeah,
because
home sweet home.
Yeah, home sweet home. Because here in Toastmasters, it is actually a safe place for everyone to make progress for themselves. And that is the same spirit that we, in SCB Toastmasters, always try to uphold and implement. So how to turn guests into members? It depends on our effort to make them feel SCBD as their home. It can be 1, for the scale, it can be 1, and it can be 8, 9, or 10. So how would you put an extra mile to turn them into our members? How would you approach them? How would we make them feel that, oh, this is the place where I can grow myself. This is the place where I believe that with the supportive community, with the supportive people that I meet eventually in SCB Toastmasters, this place can make me a better individual. Of the goal, whether they want to, expand their network, whether they want to strive for a better, for being a better professional speaker, for example, or being a better presenter, they have the place that they consider to be their home for making progress. And that is also the same spirit, the same spirit that DCI Miranda also shared earlier, that the team building, the outing, we also did that last year in SCB Toastmasters. We had 2 team buildings only for the members so that they can get to know each other. Because I myself, I joined Toastmasters in 2020 when it already began the pandemic. So I hadn't had a chance to meet everyone in Toastmasters. But when I became the club president, one of the goals that I had in mind, I had a vision to meet every single person especially for my executive committee. And I did that because all of the members of SCBD Toastmasters were scattered. Not only did they reside in Jakarta, but I know my responsibility as the club president. I need to make sure that the members, including my executive committees, feel that SCBD is their home. So if they cannot, make time for, attending the internal event, then I should make time for them. I came to them, I approached them, and maybe this is something that can be applied in your respective club as well. If you want to make your club as a home, and how to make them feel interested, and how to make them feel that they are part of the club, part of the team, then you make time to meet them. Ask for their opinions. Hey, what do you think about our club? How do you think that we can expand and we can improve our clubs to be better, not only for the guests, but also for you? What is your expectation once you become a member?
So how you maintain your existing members? Do you do that? Do you do that for all the members when you are being a president, or only the executive committees?
I also do that for the members.
For the members,
Yeah,
so you reach them one by one.
Yeah, for those who have time, then also feasible to attend, because some of the members in SCBD Toastmasters, they don't reside in Jakarta. That's hard. That's the biggest challenge of it. So and also coming and looking at the diverse background of our members, we have members that works privately for the president. We have the members working in the educational sector, health sector, and so many diverse backgrounds that we have. We can also connect them, like, for example, let's say you work in financial industries and you need someone who is expert in the law sector. And apparently our members provide that. Hey, maybe you can go to the Toastmaster X. He works at this law firm. Maybe you can ask him. So this is also something that we can utilize, because looking at the diversity that we have in our club, that it can also be the resource for them to grow in the respective work field, and also to basically to make progress for themselves.
So very interesting. Another term of saying that if you want to turn the guest to become a member, then you need to make your member feel comfortable first being in your club. Yeah, and the second way, afterwards, Miranda, this is the Toastmaster Miranda Rumi sharing just now. Now, Toastmaster Garda share us. Maybe we can reach for them one by one. If they're not attending a club meeting for maybe one or twice, and then you can read them. What actually happened? What make you feel comfortable? Or what make you feel not comfortable anymore here? Yes, and I can say that to become a members engagement. Can I say it like that? A members engagement. So starting how to make a guest to become a member is starting from our own members, starting from our own EXCOs, having a members and EXCOs engagement. So there will be a teamwork. So not only the EXCOs work, but also the members. So do you think how effective if we're already having a members engagement to attract guests to become a member? How effective it is?
I'm sorry, I lost you for a while. What was it again?
How effective it is? You're already having a member engagement in your club. How effective it is, in your opinion, to attract or to turn guests who are coming to become a members?
Oh yeah, it is really effective. Well, I cannot say for now, I cannot simply say 100% effective, but I would rather just show the proof, the living proof of our members. Recently, we had in SCBD Toastmasters, we just had one new member, and apparently he appeared to be the guest for only one time. Then that was last week, and that
only one time.
And that was his very first Toastmasters experience. He never attended any Toastmasters meeting before, but when he joined SCBD meeting last Friday, not yesterday, but last Friday, he felt that, well, yesterday I met him in our hybrid meeting. And then I asked him, hey, what made you register and what made you apply as a member in SCBD? Do you know what he said? He said that the moment when he saw SCBD and the moment when he attended the meeting, he felt that this is where he belonged.
Where he belongs.
Yeah, it sounds a bit cliche, but it's true. It can happen in your club as well. So, and how do you make them feel that they will belong in your club? It depends on how you would create your club meeting as attractive as it can, as fascinating as it can, and moreover, as authentic as it can. Because every club has their own authenticity to present and to deliver their meeting. To make it special, it cannot be generalized, but it definitely can be your attractive point to do that.
So how to make guests feel special in the club meeting, when being a guest in your meeting? Yeah, that's quite attentive for me. And fellow Toastmasters, we got another point. Just now, for the first part, we are talking about how to invite guests coming to your club meeting, and then the second one is how to turn the guests to become members. And from our 3 panelists, we got several points that maybe I can summarize for you. The first one is time sensitive. So start your meeting on time and finish it on time as well. If you want to have another activities outside the regular meeting, you may do so, but please just finish it on time. And the second one is the quality of the club meeting. So make sure you have all the role takers and also have a good evaluation, and you have a speakers and also maybe a good grammarian. But we still always learning in Toastmasters, so no worry about it. And also from Toastmasters, this is Toastmaster Miranda Rumi, we got the point that maybe we also can make another activities outside the regular meeting to have a bonding, not only for members, but also for the guests. And what Toastmaster Gada also shared to us, yes, it is all about the members' engagement. And then the second one, how to make your guests feel special being in your club meeting and let them feel that, okay, this club is a second home for me. So I will register to this club as a member. So how to make guests want to be the member of your club. Now, okay, and let's go to several questions that I got from the chat room. Now there is a question about the social media. Okay, let me find it out first. It's coming from our, from our PR arm, District 87 PR arm, Nikki Teo. And the question is, what advice would you give to clubs who are less social media savvy? They are not so well versed in the social media landscape, therefore they are not too sure how to go about it. So social media is very effective to attract guests coming, yes, but not for all clubs may have those members who are technology or social media savvy. How can we get them to take the courage to get started with it? Anyone want to answer this question?
Yeah, because because that's what Nikki here mentioned my name personally. Okay, thank you, Nikki, for your question. Yeah, this is true that not all people are familiar with the tool or the social media platforms that they can utilize for the benefit of their promotional package. But what I can offer and what I can suggest is that this is also happening with me when I was becoming the president. But it went up in a reversed way. I asked the more senior members on how to run the Facebook thing and also the YouTube live. And for those who are not familiar with the social media platform itself, start introducing them the platform. I always put this as an analogy. How would you know something if you do not know them personally? We know someone because we were introduced, or they introduced themselves. So start introducing this social media to them. For those who are less tech savvy, well, in this occasion.
How to introduce it to them? Do you maybe have another session to lead them how to access one by one, how to do that, or which way do you do that?
Definitely, we can always use any of our free time to have a fruitful discussion with those who are more familiar and more expert in using that technology. Like, for example, when I had difficulties in connecting the live YouTube with the Facebook channel and also how to incorporate it to our Zoom account, I asked DTM Harlina from Jakarta Bahasa at that time.
Okay.
And it can use vice versa. Any senior member can also ask for opinions for the younger generation, for example, for for those who are more familiar and also expert in this field. And it can start with your own respective area, whether or not they can, or maybe they have someone or some people that can help you with this regard. Maybe they have prior knowledge or expertise on how to use that. Or maybe you can ask other clubs in other areas. It is so limitless when you want to, improve your skills. I myself not an expert in technology. I'm not a tech savvy kind of person, but I know what I don't know, and therefore I want to learn from it.
Okay. So the key word is eager to know, eager to learn.
Yeah, definitely.
Yes.
Because that is also be your foundation and the motivation on how to make progress and make some improvements for your club.
But how you encourage them? Maybe not all people want to know about the social media too deeply. Or maybe they want to say, in my regular work, I do not need those things. So only in Toastmaster, how you encourage them?
Then we ask them why they don't want to make this happen. So we cannot. So this is also happening in many contexts in our daily life. The reason why we hate something is not necessarily that we don't need that, but when we know some people hate on something, then we, as maybe someone who wants to help them, we need to know their reason. Why they are not eager, or why they're not encouraged to, or feel encouraged to use that. And maybe we can try to help them in looking from another perspective. Well, it also varies and depends on the situation.
Oh, okay. So you just encourage them. For the one who can be encouraged to join your session to know more about the social media, then welcome. Is it true?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, Toastmaster Gada. And just now, this is Toastmaster Miranda. Do you want to say something?
Question, yeah. I mean, okay. I'm actually quite tech savvy, Garda. And but my problem is the opposite. I'm not interested to maintain the social presence, right? I can explain how to do that. I know how to do that, but I am just not a social media person. So that is my biggest challenge. So how do we do that? And we do have some members, younger members, who are more active, but they're also very busy. Like, how many people do you need to maintain that? And you said, like, posting every day. And I know you can schedule, there's a scheduling app that you just like put all the contents and they just go by itself. But still, it requires somebody to do that. And I think for most clubs, the challenge is the manpower on this, because to maintain a strong and influential social media presence, you have to have it's a labor intensive thing.
Yeah. So the question may be like, in one club, how many PR in a PR team, in one club PR team, how many how many people that you need to maintain the social media always updated. Is it true? CCD Miranda, is that what you want to ask to Toastmaster
Yeah.
Garda?
So let's say, the club only has like what, 12, 15 members.
Okay.
And, the exco, and even from that, like, in my club, it's surprisingly that, a lot of young people, but not everybody is very active in social media. So how do we do that?
Okay, we'd like to listen more from Toastmaster Garda. Toastmaster Garda, how can you do that in your term?
Sorry, come again. What was the question again?
So, yeah. So actually, your club is very active in the social media, keeping updating content, etc. And it needs a lot of effort. So maybe in other clubs, they have less members. In your PR team to keep your social media, your club social media updated.
Okay,
How many
so
people working in it? Yeah.
how many people? Initially only one, the VPPR herself.
Oh.
But then we realized that well, in our case in ICBD, we realized that we had more members, and by all means that we had more resources to be part of the team. So we created a standing committee that could help the work of our executive committee. So at that time, the for public relations team, there were two, and I was part of the PR team in the term of 2020-2021. And in my term last year, we had 2, and then continue to expand to 3 and 4. Well, because we understood that the benefit of utilizing the social media to reach more people out there is very essential. So let's
make detail. The social media that you use in your club, in the SCBD club. First is the Instagram. Second one is FB. Third one is
LinkedIn.
Okay,
yeah,
so
you can mention it first.
yeah, so we had Instagram, we had YouTube, we have LinkedIn, we have Facebook, we use Gmail, we use Sandbox, we use WhatsApp. Yeah, there are those 7 social media platforms that we could use at that time. And well, actually at that time, LinkedIn was something new to us, but it's really effective. Because we recognize that many people out there, especially professionals, they are active in LinkedIn. And you know what? Some of the guests recognize Toastmasters, in also SCBD Toastmasters in particular, from our LinkedIn post.
Okay.
They didn't know about Toastmasters before. They didn't know about it from Instagram, from the website, but they know Toastmasters from LinkedIn. Just because they were so active in it.
Yeah, but to manage those those 7 social medias of your club, how many people you think that is can be involved to make it effectively?
2 people can do.
2 people can do that.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So it is not a problem if you only have 8 people, 8 members in your club, because for the social media, only 2 people.
Yeah, and I would like to make a highlight on it. Even though it sounds a bit technical, but it doesn't mean all of those things, all of those words have to be in the hand of the VPPR, him or herself. Maybe you as the club president, you can also help him or her, help your PPPR, or maybe your other exco can help your PPPR as well. Because this is not an individual work, right? This is a teamwork.
Yes, teamwork. Oh yeah. That's quite interesting. Well, we are running out of time, but I think I still have another one question that is left unanswered. Maybe for this question, I would like to ask for distinguished Toastmaster Cecilia. There is a question from the floor. Is there any phrase or sentences as keyword when we ask guests to join as a member, based on your experience and sponsoring so many members? Do you think there is any phrase or maybe sentence or words
Yes.
That is
yes.
so effective. Yes.
There is a phrase that says, people don't care how much you know. People cares, how much you care about them. See, so that is very important. I always consider Toastmasters like a product when I approach prospective
Product.
members. Product.
Okay.
So-
So selling a product.
Sell, that's right, sell. Actually, in life, we all sell ourselves as well, right?
Hmm.
You see, I was in multi-level marketing in my younger days, and
Mhm.
people always say that people don't like to join multi-level marketing or networking. But the thing is, the strange thing is, coming back to what I was taught then, we all sell ourselves. Why? When you go for a job interview, you have to tell your prospective employer how good you are, right? The other thing is, when you share good things with your friend, whether it's a nice food or whether it's a nice place to go, nice movie to see, you sell. Agree?
Okay. Uh-huh.
Yes.
Yeah.
So to me, it's about selling, but not in a bad way, because in Toastmasters, I personally believe, and I've seen results, especially with my spouse, he has so
Uh-huh.
much confidence now. And because of that, I can sell Toastmasters. Well, I normally ask those people, why do you come? First of all, why do you come to the meeting? They must have a purpose to come for a meeting. Why waste
Okay.
time? If they're not interested, why do you want to waste time to attend your meeting, right? So once they come and they tell you what their needs are, some of them say, oh, I want to do public speaking, not confident.
Mhm, mhm.
That is when you catch what's their needs. Needs again, the selling.
Starting from their interest. Okay.
The needs. It must be the needs. If the person
Okay.
don't have a need, you cannot sell anything.
Uh-huh.
Right? So you start to sell Toastmasters, because Toastmasters, in my personal opinion, number one is confidence. I will tell anybody who wants to join Toastmasters, provided you attend regular meetings and do your speeches and play your roles, by 6 months, you will gain confidence. That's number one. You look at all the pathways that we have. Confidence is in all the paths. That's why I can be assured to promise anybody who wants to join Toastmasters that they will definitely gain confidence within 6 months of their membership, provided they attend meetings. If you don't attend meetings, you don't do speeches, you don't do roles, you learn nothing. And that's what some of the people expect. They join, they don't come for meetings, they don't take up roles, they don't do speeches, they don't learn anything. And that's when they don't renew, because they never learn anything. So now the way I handle the new members is this way. What is it you want? How much time you're willing to commit to it? Minimum is 6 months. Of course, some people, when you tell them you have to commit long term, they're very scared. So normally we start with 6 months. So as long as you know their needs, some people just say, oh, I want to do presentation in front of my boss or something like that. It's very important what they want and how you can promise them.
Yeah. So no matter whether it is to face members, whether it is to face guests, it is the same. That is, what is your needs, and then what can Toastmasters give benefits on you?
So Toastmasters become the product, right? So you have to find out what Toastmasters has given you, and you will be able to sell Toastmasters.
So kind of like, okay, come to Toastmasters. What do you need? Public speaking? Okay, I guarantee you in a very short time you can do that. But there is still another thing that you need to do if you want to reach it.
Of course, nothing is free in this world. You don't.
Okay.
Do it, it's not gonna happen, you know.
Thank you. So I wish that this will answer your question, Toastmaster too. And before we close the panel discussion, this is Toastmaster Miranda, do you have anything to mention, or do you want to say something?
Yes, I think this is my conclusion. Recruiting members is a way of being as a Toastmasters. And what I mean by that is it's not something that we should do, but it's something that we can do to become a better person. We practice being kind, we practice being friendly, we practice listening, to people's needs, and we operate from what's in it for me. Like I have to like my club first. I have to enjoy my club first, and then only then can I attract others. So if we're not happy with our clubs, like do something first, or if we notice that the members are not happy with the clubs, then as excos or as leaders, attend to that first before we recruit and try to convert guests. Because even if we are successful in recruiting guests, but we don't attend to the issues in the club, and the club meetings are not amazing, and we're not happy with our meeting, the members are not going to last very long, the new members.
Yeah, so from inside to outside, from inside out. Okay, starting from inside. So from your club members, from your club meetings, and then the guests will just become a bonus coming to your club meetings.
I like that word.
Yeah,
They become bonus. We're not really like expending a special effort. We're just having fun, and we'll enjoy that, and the guests would feel that energy, and they would want to join.
yes.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. This is Toastmaster Miranda Rumi, and I think we are really running out of time. Yes, it's very great to talk with three of you. This is Toastmaster Miranda Rumi, this is Toastmaster Cecilia Kok, and Toastmaster Garda Widi Nuraga. So I'm very thankful to for three of you for coming as our panelists, and for our fellow Toastmasters. We wish that this short discussion may benefit you to have a practical things to implement, or maybe you have something creative ideas that you think that maybe can be applicable in your clubs. So good luck for your journey, and I'll pass the control back to our Toastmaster of the meeting. Yeah, our MC, Toastmaster Hilman Ormar. Thank you.
Right, thank you, Toastmaster Rolia. And thank you, everyone. We've come to the end of the training. Our sincerest gratitude to the panelists, speakers, organizers, and audience members for attending today's session. We'd now like to acknowledge and appreciate the speakers and role players who have dedicated their time and effort to make today possible. Panelist Toastmaster Garda Widi Nuraga, panelist Distinguished Toastmaster Miranda Rumi, panelist Distinguished Toastmaster Cecilia Kok, moderator Rolia Rini, myself as the MC. Thank you, everyone. So these are just a certificate of appreciation to list down. I'm guessing I have to say it there again. So yes.
Okay, thank you
Okay,
very
I guess
much. Sorry for the wait. Toastmaster Garda, are you ready? 1, 2, 3. All right. Thank you very much. I have saved the photo. And thank you for sharing with us. All right.
Thank you.
Let me just next certificate. All right. Sorry, give me a second. Next one is Distinguished Toastmaster Miranda Rumi, which will be this one. Thank you for your patience. Say cheese. 1, 2, 3. Okay, I got it. Thank you. All right, saving. All right, moving on to the next role player. It's Distinguished Toastmaster Cecilia Kok.
My surname is spelled wrongly.
Oh dear. Okay.
Let me make the amendment.
Okay, you're gonna
And
make
I'd
the
like
amendment.
I'd like to take the photo with the OC. Ling, please appear.
Okay. Okay, that's very flattering, Cecilia. I will Photoshop that. I will.
No. You are fine now. You are yes, except that my surname is spelled wrongly.
It's embarrassing. Okay, Cecilia, are you ready? It's a souvenir. Okay, 1, 2, 3. All right. Thank you very much, Cecilia, for coming. It was
Thank
it
you,
was so nice
Toastmaster Ling
to
Ling.
see everyone. Let me just sorry, it's taking a while because my computer for some reason won't let me share screenshots right away. All right, moving on to the next one. It is Toastmaster Rolia. Okay, spotlight for everyone. All right, Rolia, you ready? 1, 2, 3, smile. Thank you. I appreciate it. All right, remove spotlight, save the picture. I know it's a whole process. It's this is not a very nice computer to take screenshots on. And our last one is Toastmaster Hilman Omar. All right, please for everyone. All right, Hilman, ready? 1, 2, 3, smile or not smile. All right, thank you very much, Hilman. And that concludes it. I will now pass the floor back to Hilman for the last final few words.
Okay, thank you. Now, no event is complete with photo. No event is complete with a group photo. So before we leave, let's please take a moment to commemorate this event. Zoom host, please proceed to take a screenshot. I'm going to try to get everyone to open their cameras if you have your cameras ready.
All right. Thanks for coming, everyone. Hope I can see everyone's nice smiles. All right. Toastmaster Donna, thank you. Toastmaster Alfin and Toastmaster Rahmania, if you're there. I'll give it 5 more seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2. All right. 1. Ready, everyone? Let's smile. 1, 2, 3. Say cheese. There we go. Right. Thank you, everyone, for coming. I've got your photo now. I will send it. It will be posted on the, I think the district will share it on their stories and things. But thank you so much for coming, everyone. Really appreciate your attendance.
Thank you.
Ling Ling.
Thank you, Ling Ling. Thank you, Gardner.
Thank you.
Thanks
See
a
you.
lot, everyone.
That concludes our
Thanks
program
a
today.
lot.
Thank you for your patient attendance. We hope to see you at the next District E7 training event. So yeah.
All right.
See you
Thank you,
again
everyone.
around next time. Thank you, everyone.
All right, thank you.
All right.
Ling Ling, finally it's done. Yay!
So this is our first event together, me and Rolia, for CTD. Hopefully, first of many to come.
Please close, stop the recording. Thank you.
Oh, yes, yes. Thank you so much for reminding me. Recording